888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. I am Larry Elder. We are ReliefFactor.com studio. Well, there you have it. That's the President of the United States referring to the Georgia law as Jim Crow on steroids. You have the governor of Georgia defending the law. I thought we would chat with my guest. He is the President and CEO of Essential Wealth Management Group. Formerly with Raymond Jones & Associate, originally from Savannah, Georgia, also a Navy vet, as is my brother. Please welcome to the program the Executive Director of the Atlanta Black Chambers, Melvin Coleman. Mr. Coleman, how are you?
Good evening, Larry.
Mr. Coleman, were you guys consulted when Major League Baseball decided to pull the game out of your city and move it to, apparently they're moving it to Denver?
No, we were not consulted. We were not a part of that process.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's a difficult, tough situation. Decisions have consequences, and people are responding. And so we understand. We don't have to like it, but we understand that some of this is to be expected. The legislation is controversial, and though the governor, give him some credit for removing some of the really divisive items out of the legislation, but there's still a couple of items in the legislation that gives a lot of people some grave concerns about its impact on voting in the black community. So again, we don't like that the Major League Baseball All-Star Game has left our city, but we are right now in the midst of just a tough time in the state of Georgia. The timing of this, the legislation being passed, it just causes a lot of folks to think that we're coming off of major losses in terms of the Republicans losing the 2 seats in the Senate. And so to make changes now, it creates, or the optics of it, looks like you're making changes because you've lost. And so we just have some concerns about that. And now we've got to deal with corporations coming out and speaking to what a lot of what people are saying, that this legislation still has some issues. Although it was far worse, because I was hearing things prior to it getting to the governor's desk, it was far worse. But there's still a couple of items in there, and that's all it takes. If people think that you are in some way not interfering with their right to vote, but just the ability, the opportunity, the accessibility of voting, then they're going to have an issue with that.
My guest is
where we are.
My guest is Melvin Coleman. He is Executive Director of the Atlanta Black Chambers. Mr. Coleman, can you be specific? What are the couple of provisions that you think are giving people problems?
So we understand that the whole opportunity to have drop boxes was a result of the pandemic. We've never had drop boxes before. And I don't know exact numbers, but let's just say there are 90-plus drop boxes throughout the Atlanta metropolitan area. So that has been drastically reduced. So we understand that you would reduce those drop boxes going forward, because we won't be in a pandemic. But a lot of people are saying you didn't have to bring it down to what looks like it could be over a 200% reduction.
And their response, Mr. Coleman, is going to be that those drop boxes were not lawful in the first place, and now, even though they're not as many as people want, now they are lawful.
Okay. But we clearly saw how having drop boxes made voting more accessible and easier for more people than ever before.
Okay,
and
that's
as long as
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, that's drop boxes. What you said there were a couple of provisions. Is there another one?
So, Fulton County, which is where Atlanta is, they purchased 2 mobile polling. They're like buses, and Fulton County is where you need all the resources you can get. It's one of the most populous counties, if not the most populous county in the state of Georgia. It's where the city of Atlanta resides.
Right.
So the legislation does not allow for the use of the mobile polls. And so that again is an item that people who oppose the legislation will point to. And then there's the opportunity for the state to essentially take over the whole process if they feel they have some issues or some concerns, or they have the ability to do that. So there's a power grab here.
Mr. Coleman, I guess my reaction to all of this is, it seems to me that the opponents of the Georgia law are essentially saying black people somehow can't figure out how to vote, can't figure out how to navigate through this new legislation when, in fact, in 2008 and 2012, Mr. Coleman, the percentage of eligible black voters who voted exceeded the percentage of eligible white voters who voted for the very first time. So if these things are supposed to suppress the vote, they're not working. Mr. Coleman, please don't go away. I want to ask you a few things on the other side. Just a few more minutes if you have time. Executive Director of the Atlanta Black Chambers, Melvin Coleman. I'm Larry Elder. Do not leave town.